In this presentation, we're going to learn the basics of Adventures in Names 0.5. You should have Adventures in Names open, and you should try these methods in Adventures in Names as we teach them to you. Pause the video at any time you need to try out what you have just learned. Rewind a section if you need to watch it again. Beginning at your desktop, go to the Start button, go to All Programs, and find Adventures in Names. If you have not made a shortcut yet, you can take Adventures in Names, right-click on it, and create shortcut, drag that on your desktop, or just click on Adventures in Names out of Programs. This will bring us to the login screen. It's name in all three fields, N-A-M-E. You name, tab, and then you can either press enter or the OK button. That will bring us to the agreement to the license. Go ahead and click yes. Let's first examine the screens that we need to be familiar with. The first one is the product category screen. Here you will choose what category of products you want to be working with, whether it be keychains, coffee mugs, mouse pads. Here we'll deal with hot templates mainly because that's the hot certificate templates. To move to the next screen, you click on the next button. This brings us to the items screen. On the item screen, we can choose between a name, a combo, which is two names together, a pet product, or a poem. We choose the one we want, and then we click on the next button to take us to the art screen. At this point in our training, we're going to skip the art screen, so just click the next button, taking us to the search screen. Now, do not be intimidated by the search screen. All we're going to deal with now is the data type, which is a female name, male name, poems or dogs. It always defaults to female. We're going to click in the search for box and type in the name we want and hit the find button. We then click next and it builds our product for us. Alright, let's get started by creating our first name certificate. Go ahead and start Adventures in Names. Remember to log in name, and you get to the product category screen. Start on product category screen. We'll start with hot templates. Choose hot templates and click next. This brings us to the item screen, which shows us the default item, which is a name. Click next, then skip the art screen by clicking next again. That brings us to the search screen. You'll notice on the search screen that it automatically defaults to female names. Click in the search for box, type in the name that you want, and then after you've got that in, hit the find button. The name that we've looked up will come up on the right hand side. We can verify that that's the name we want and hit next. Now, as you can see, the software has created the product for us. This is in the center of the product, even though it may or may not be in the center of your screen. That depends upon the resolution of your screen. However, the two white lines do create a crosshair that is the center of the product. At this point, you could print this product, or we could edit it. By editing it, it means we can move it to a different location, so it'll print on a different spot in the art print. We could change the text. All of these advanced things we'll learn in just a moment. Why don't you pause the tape at this point and try everything up to now, see how you do. If you need to rewind and watch this section again, do so. Alright, let's go ahead and see what it takes to print. In order to print, we go to the File menu on the upper left of the screen. Choose File, choose a print or proof print. A proof print prints with the lines in it, so that is either a sample or a proof print to see where it's going to print on the art print. We want a real print, so we'll click on Print. That will bring up a dialog box that reminds us that this is not a proof print that's going to take a royalty. Go ahead and click Yes and make a real product. Now let's go ahead and pause the video here, and you can try this to this point for yourself. Try a proof print first. Now let's continue by inserting a greeting and signature line. To do this, we go to the top of the print screen and find Insert, then select Greeting. You'll see that I'll insert a greeting line. We do the same and choose Signature, and I'll insert a signature line. To edit this, we double-click on the text we want to edit. This opens an editor. We can then type in whatever we're wanting to type in there. We could actually change fonts at this point, or we could also change font size. Once we've completed what we're typing in, we'll go ahead and hit the Finish button, and that will commit it to our product. To edit the signature, we do exactly the same thing. We'll go down and we'll double-click on Signature. That will open the editor. We will then type in whatever it is we're wanting to type in here, adjust the font size or font, and click on the Finish button. This will then commit that to the product. We could do this on any of the text boxes. For example, if we want to change she to a girl who is, we can double click on that. We'll take out the she and we'll change that text. And when we're ready, we'll go ahead and click on finish, and that will commit it. That does not change the master data. It only changes it for this product. Alright, continuing on then, we're going to learn how to move the text around on the screen, which will allow us to have it in a different position on an art print. Like on this art print here, it needs to be up to a different little position. Note that at the top of the screen, there's two boxes, Lock Text and Lock Art. On these two boxes, you want to make sure that Lock Text is not locked. That means no check mark in it. Put your mouse on the text you want to move, hold down the left mouse button, and drag it around the screen. If you want to move everything, then we need to unlock both art and text. Holding down the control key and then our left mouse button, we can drag this around to where we want to go. Now let's pause the video and you try it. Remember to unlock text and left mouse button to drag one thing around, unlock both text and art, and the control and left mouse button to drag everything. Now we're going to teach you how to use jump text to move things around. This is different than using your left mouse button or the control and left mouse button. And now of course you already know that if you have lock text and lock art turned off, you can use your left mouse button and control to move things around, but you can also go somewhere on the screen, double click, and it will jump to that point. Again, you can use control and left mouse or double click on the screen and everything will jump to that point. But lock text and lock art must be off. Now to undo everything, this is the only time you use the back button. From this screen only, you click back once and then forward on the next button once. That undoes everything. Of course, you've got to go back to insert and insert your greeting and signature back on, but they do retain the text you have put in them. We'll now examine the properties box for each of the text properties. To get it, you put your mouse over one of the text boxes and double right click. That's double right click. The properties box for that box will come up. The one we're initially interested in is font size. If you double right click on the small arrow on the right hand side of the font box, font size, or on the down arrow, that will make the font for that specific box grow larger or smaller visually. So it makes it very easy to edit it. Each one of the text boxes has a properties box of its own. To get rid of that property box, you must click on the box that it was opened with. If you don't, then you'll see that part of the text is left open and that would print. So you've got to double right click on the box to open it and click back on that same box to close it. Again, each of the boxes have a properties box. You double right click on the appropriate box that you want to edit the properties for, and that will bring up the properties for that specific box. In order to begin again, we never use the back button to go back. It will mess up the cycle of your software. Always use File and then the New button. That will take us back to the Product Categories screen. On the Product Categories screen, you can then choose your product category and go next to that category or item. But never use back to go back. Always go File and New. Even from just one screen ahead, just go File and New. Also, to exit the software, you'll always go File and Exit. When you go File and Exit, it will come up and ask you if you really want to exit the software. You say yes. That will then take anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes to exit. Your software is not locked up. Do not turn the machine off. When it comes up and asks you if you want to make a backup, you always say no. If that leaves a screen open, at that point you can use the X button to close that window and take you back to the desktop. That's the only time you use the X button.